Okay, Andrew, I wanted to pick up where we left off in the first video about athletic training and athletic trainers considering private practice or maybe introducing them to the idea of practicing privately on a cash basis as a professional in their community, helping individuals beyond just treating symptoms like a knee or a hip or a back and then never seeing them ever again. And so you were saying something, I think, there earlier when we talked about this, about a shift in mindset from the practitioner's perspective about their professional role. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So again, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. When you talk about this relationship and you first interact with this person, the mindset by default is almost, okay, this person has, say, a knee injury, and your sole purpose is to make the knee feel better so they can continue what they're doing. I think as a muscle system specialist, when we come in and work with somebody, yes, it's important to note those things, but also I think it's important to disclose or discover the psyche of what that person obviously is going through, number one, but the reason why they want to get better, whether that's a sport related thing or just a personal thing. And the reason for that is simply because once this person starts to feel better through our care, I think our main objective is to get that person to continue on and be a part of, have us be a part of their journey, their life journey, simply because the muscular system is a thing that continues on and needs attention throughout the course of someone's life. But also too, if there's something that's maybe a deeper importance to that person, I think that's important for them to understand why that is important for us to be here for the remainder of their life. It doesn't have to be just every single day. It can be just periodically, but at some point we're still part of their existence.
Yeah, so I think that's an important mindset shift for the modern athletic trainers used to, like we talked about, being in a clinical setting or at a school,
Yeah.
standing on the side of a field, waiting for someone to get injured, running out there and seeing what's going on, and then, doing a quick diagnostic, getting them to the doctor, and then whatever happens next happens, and they may never see them again. They may do the rehab, and then they never see them again, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a real revolving door in the typical clinical setting for an athletic trainer, where the key mindset shift is, developing a long-term professional relationship with this person in your community. Initially dealing with whatever symptoms or problems that they have, and using the biopsychosocial model to understand the psychology and real motivation, but getting beyond the symptom, right? And thinking holistically and long-term and pulling alongside this person, no matter what they are: football player, baseball player, junior high, college, professional, used to be an athlete, now isn't, but wants to be active still. And the athletic trainer can now, really present themselves as this long-term manager of their capabilities. So yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's everything for sure when it comes to the relationship part.
And what do you think is tough? What do you think is the tough transition from clinical mindset? My knee at 9 o'clock, my hip at 9:30, and I got a back at 10, right? So we tend to, look at the person as just the symptom thing and where that is, versus going, oh, I got Steve at 9 and Karen at 9:30 and Jim at 9:45. And we're in this process of dealing with them more holistically. What do you think is the challenge for an athletic trainer to make in that transition?
I think the first example, like you said, if I look at my schedule and I have body parts as my main focus, and I probably said this the last time, it's more or less a tunnel vision type of approach, because number one, you're focused on potentially where the pain is. As we both know, this thing is a system. There's all sorts of body parts that affect that injury or sensation. But also we're lacking I think, the professional relationship, because we don't really know that person's story, or we don't know, besides the pain, why they want to get better. And I think those are crucial parts when it comes to this long-term relationship, which we both strive for when it comes to consistency and having a sustainable practice, not a practice where you see that person say they get better and then they're gone. It's like, oh great, now I got to find somebody else. So from a business standpoint, especially in private practice, it's everything. You have to have those people be consistently showing up. And it's also sort of an ode to the mindset of we're trying to get someone to not only feel better, but sustain when they do feel better, to keep that process going, as opposed to I feel better and then a few weeks or months down the road, oh, they're back at square one again because they have an injury again, because they weren't keeping up with their system. Versus the other way around, where it's like, okay, I feel better, I'm managing somebody so that they continue to feel this way and that they can continue to do the things they really want to do on a professional level or a personal level, whatever it is. So to me, that's the most important thing when it comes to when I look at my schedule. I see, like you said, you see the names, or Steve, Betty, whatever, and you're like, okay, Steve has this, we talked about this. That's where my mind drifts when it comes to not only what they're going through, but them as the person. And I another side bit is I look at those people and my mindset is, yes, they're clients, but I try to treat them like they're from my family members, because I mean, we both care about our families so much. Why can't we implement that idea or practice with the people who are paying us good money to help manage their system? So it's more of an intimate sort of relationship when it comes to the care we provide. At least that's how I view it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think those are ideas that, regardless of athletic trainers, but any sort of person that's in a one-on-one field working with people that pay you money, that's the approach you should take, or an example of an approach you should take.
Yeah. Yeah. Because now we're talking about the value proposition, right? And bringing value
Totally.
to the relationship. Because typically in clinical settings, athletic trainers aren't like getting checks paid. They're not getting checks written out to them, right? They're not running credit cards or anything like that. They just do what they do and put the CPT codes down, and somebody else bills it, and they just get a check every 2 weeks for whatever they do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a big discrepancy between the clinical setting versus the private setting, and that's something that's, again, you're not taught that unless you live it. I think you can get tidbits from people who are in that experience, but until you live it and you go through it, I think that's where you start to understand the importance of what I just was talking about, the importance of developing those relationships and being really close when it comes to understanding all facets of why they're here in the first place.
Mm. Yeah, that really expands out the role responsibilities if someone wants to take those on for an athletic trainer. And
Yeah.
just by the title itself, right? I'm an athletic trainer, so I only deal with athletes. Well,
Yeah.
your skills, the skills of an athletic trainer, can be brought to bear on a wide variety of individuals.
And I think a lot of people might say and agree with you in saying the word athletic trainer maybe isn't the best name. It sure as heck has been around for quite a while, but I think when you hear the word at face value, it's almost limiting, because the mantra is you only work with athletes,
Right.
when in fact that's not the case. So I think that's something that might have to change in the future. I don't know. You'd have to ask other people, but
Probably that's probably not good. Yeah, you have degree programs right now and state
right.
licensure, an entire board of certification based on that idea.
Totally.
But it does affect the mindset, right? It's part of that identity role problem that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's good to have, at least for me, multiple titles, because I can describe myself in more lights than just, oh, I'm a licensed athletic trainer, versus I'm that, plus I'm a personal trainer and now a muscle system specialist, where I can really make myself more specific as to what I practice, as opposed to an array of different things. It's more specific now.
Yeah, very
So
true.
that's how I view it, at least.
All right, so that's critical. The mindset shift, the
Yeah.
identity role shift, and then recognizing, wait a minute, I have a lot to bring to the table here, but I have to think about it differently from a variety of ways, right? One, I just can't look at my schedule as body parts with pain associated with them. I've got to be more holistic in my thinking and whole system oriented and relationship driven, so that I can build a value proposition such that someone will write checks and pay credit cards for what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's important. All right. That's an excellent one. Let's get on to the next subject, the next video. What do you think we should hit? Probably it's going to be about what, interviewing? It's a different interview process, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about that in the next one, how the interviewing process up front is going to be different for a private practice athletic trainer versus a clinical based athletic trainer who might just be interested in what's your symptoms, what was the circumstances surrounding the injury, and then it's over. Right.
And it's like, all right, let's start working at it and go from
Yeah,
there
right, right,
without any sort of personal dialogue. I think it's just like the client's like, all right, do your thing, get it done.
right, right.
Versus the way we're going to do it is, much more complex and intricate.
Yeah,
So
it's like retail rehab, right? They're just coming in buying some knee pain relief off the shelf.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, since you label it that way, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of what it is.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I think the way we do it is a lot better off. And I find that people are way more receptive of it. They like the fact that we're very detail oriented, and that's something we'll get into as far as the specifics.
All right. All right. We'll look forward to that, man. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Good stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks again for having me. Appreciate it.
All right.